UFC 280 plays host to one of the most hyped fights in all of MMA. Habib versus Tony No. This can't be right. My bad. Instead of the Habib versus Tony fight we've been pining for, we get a downgraded Habib versus an upgraded Tony Ferguson, as we get to watch the title fight between Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. Both fighters came up with grapple-first disciplines, but both have rounded out their skill sets throughout their careers leading up to this moment. First, we will talk about Charles Oliveira's road to victory. One area where Islam is strongest is where Charles Oliveira is most elite. Oliveira's ability to initiate scrambles from guard are insane, and if Islam finds himself in Oliveira's guard and isn't able to control him, Charles has a good opportunity to throw up submissions that he can use to sweep or submit Islam, or at least threaten such actions to keep Islam moving and cementing himself from dominant positions. Islam doesn't prioritize ground and pound over control, so if Oliveira is held down in guard but is able to deal damage with elbows from bottom, he may be able to sway the judges into giving him their scorecards. It is no secret that Charles has developed a pretty good striking game, as well as some formidable punching power. His pressure-heavy style may be very hard for Islam to deal with, especially if Charles stays out of clinching range, as he would be able to pressure Islam into shooting a panic takedown. At that point, he can use that as an opportunity to latch up a guillotine while Islam is shooting a head outside single leg like he has done before. One interesting wrinkle to see would be if Charles catches everyone off guard and shoots in on Islam and sets the tone for the rest of the fight in terms of aggression. Now we will talk about Islam's chances to win the fight. Islam's skill set seems like it is pretty well tailored to beat Oliveira's style. Islam's defensive footwork would keep him away from Oliveira's strikes, as Islam doesn't mind backing up and circling out when a fighter is pressuring him. Oliveira's recent striking success came in moments where opponents were meeting him toe-to-toe and not backing up, rather indulging him in chaotic exchanges at close range, which is something that Islam's previous performances of late suggest would not happen. If Islam is able to take Charles down, his wrestling abilities are the nightmare for any BJJ fighter, those being heavy hip and shoulder pressure. Islam is a pretty big and strong lightweight and has the size to control just about anybody in half guard. He's able to control opponents in half guard because he can exert both hip and shoulder pressure over the top of his opponent simultaneously. Islam is also not above forcing a very boring decision, which could play to his advantage. A lot of Islam's grappling rides are also not conducive to BJJ, as he often finds a way to mitigate chaos by grabbing onto 2-on-1s on the wrist or locking up the legs with hooks, reverse hooks, and leg mounts. Islam's ability to bring the fight to the ground don't only rely on traditional wrestling takedowns, but also on foot sweeps and judo throws that he has picked up through years of practicing combat sambo. Those techniques usually land him in favorable positions like side control, full mount, and back mount, which make initiating scrambles and leg entanglements pretty difficult for Oliveira. If grappling exchanges go in Islam's favor and Charles loses the opening round on the ground, he may be dismayed from relying on his biggest weapons on the feet, those being the lead hook, tie clinch, and flying attacks up the middle. If he throws the left hook, it might give Islam the window of opportunity to close distance and initiate the clinch. Oliveira initiating the tie clinch himself could also lead to such an opportunity for Islam. And recklessly closing the distance through flying attacks puts him in prime position for getting clinched yet again. Using the tie clinch on a good wrestler who is just as tall as you gives the wrestler an opportunity to just drop onto your legs or initiate a body lock. Islam also has the ability to hold Oliveira against the cage for long stretches of the fight, banking in minutes of control time and perhaps winning rounds. I believe that Oliveira has more ways to win, but Makhachev's road to victory are a bit more concrete, and I predict that Makhachev will win a very long, drawn-out decision against Charles Oliveira at UFC 280.